Welcome back to WhoDooTV. I'm Hoosier, and continuing our Image Expo 2018 coverage, this time we have The Last Siege with Ladry Q Walker and Justin Greenwood.
You are now watching WhoDooTV.
I'm Ladry Walker. This is Justin Greenwood. We're doing a book called Siege. It's kind of one half spaghetti western, Kurosawa film, and one half medieval war story. So kind of like Seventh Samurai and what are some of the other examples we were talking about? Fistful of Dollars, High Plains Drifter, and The Warlord with Charlton Heston, if anyone knows that one.
Yeah, if you're 50 or over, the Warlord's
I love that movie.
We happen to love it, but it's not an easy reference.
It's off a lot of people's radars
at
this stage. I don't even know if that one's come out on DVD or Blu-ray. I own that one on VHS. It's one of the only reasons I still have a VCR.
It's a classic, though.
Yeah, it's
Charlton Heston at his finest.
Oh, it's very good. It predates Planet of the Apes, but he still has the "Get your hands off me, you damn dirty," in this time Saxons, he says. So this is not anything to do with our book. It's just a fun aside. But we're doing a book called The Last Siege. It's basically a medieval war story with the kind of storytelling structure of a spaghetti western. Sorry.
It's an underdog story. It's about a guy who ends up in a fight that just gets bigger and bigger, and he can't possibly win, but he just keeps fighting.
Yeah. You know, there's a large thread of like revenge story built in, and kind of a story of betrayal and honor and all that stuff that you would expect to see in such a tale. Yes.
Where'd the concept come from?
Well, it kind of germinated back in about 2002, actually, and I didn't have the tools I think I needed at the time to work on it. But I was reading a bit of text. It was, I think, the Anglo-Saxon Chronicles, and I'm going to paraphrase the hell out of this text here, where this was written in 1087, and they were talking about the Norman invasion of England, where the Saxons were just, their whole culture was just pretty much eradicated, and a new government system was brought in. And that was, they filled the land with castles, and they filled the castles with devils. Now that's metaphorical devils, because this is not a fantasy series, but it was just such a powerful line that was written, 1,000 years ago. I thought it was just about like what it meant to see this army sweep across an entire nation, and so from there it just kind of germinated, and looking for the right angle to tell. Not a literal retelling of this era, because this era is really, that era, the Battle of Hastings, 1066, it's all really well told. But to tell that story of, spiritually, of the last dregs of that battle, because that war went on for 5 years. We all think Battle of Hastings, they win, they kill King Harold of Saxony, and now it's King William of England. But there was 5 more years of fighting. And what this would be is essentially a spiritual retelling of that last year, that last battle, that last bit of one culture as it's being crushed by this other.
Beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
So I assume then this is not going to be ongoing?
It is ongoing.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
The first arc kind of covers this large portion that he's kind of describing, and then it continues from there.
Yeah, we've got, when I first, and this is an audacious comment, and don't take it too seriously, but when I first planned it, I planned my 100-issue epic, which all my friends told me was insane. So right now we're looking at a 6-issue arc, followed by, we have at least 2 other 6-issue arcs we'd like to tell. And from there,
Landry and I both grew up in the Bay Area, and it's funny, we've only known each other in the last like 4 or 5 years maybe. But we'll get together and have breakfast with a bunch of comics folks. And he started telling me about this idea, and I just really, really liked it a lot. I mean, it's recently I've been reading more manga and thinking about storytelling and pacing, and just how American comics sometimes they fit into like a certain structure. It's very comfortable and common, and I just wanted to do something where I got to play with that a bit more, like really stretch things out, but also make them very fast and like play around with the different rhythms. And this book's kind of perfect for it. It's just a lot of just quiet tension, and then all of a sudden things kick off, and it's chaos. And visually, it's just super fun to work on.
Since you're kind of trying to play with the format a little bit, you talk about quiet tension. You know that a lot of times American comics will fall flat when there's no dialogue. Artists have a hard time conveying that sort of atmosphere or
Yeah.
emotion. So bringing in some of these manga elements, did that really like for you inspire you to be able to kind of see the story differently?
I
Or was
don't
it a
know.
struggle?
No, it's not a struggle for sure, and I don't have a problem with silent comics necessarily. I just like how you tell a story. Every story is structured a different way for a reason. If a story's meant to be silent, then it's perfect for that, and if it's not, then it's really not, and you know kind of right away. I don't know if I could say it's like manga influence necessarily, but I really just like the idea of pushing and pulling on rhythm.
Well, I think that's exactly a good description because you do a lot, like with the execution of the art, he's doing a lot of stuff that is, I'm looking at going, we can cut a chunk of dialogue from here because he's performed it so well with, even in the quieter scenes, there's a tension that I think is built into the story because you've got a small group of people who know that likely their death is coming. And the desperation behind that it drives everything. It informs, all the performances of the character and every bit of dialogue. And I working with him has been a phenomenal experience because it's a very liberal process where I give him a script and he knows, he's been very good at knowing, these are elements that he can work with, push and pull and change to meet.
He probably gets the thumbnails back and he's like, what the f?
Oh, I love it though. He does. It's like, okay, I wrote out, because I do full scripts, but I'll write like a 5-panel page and I'll get back a 3-panel or a 7-panel and look and go, yeah, but everything I need is there.
Right.
It's great because there is an intuitive understanding of that what I write is a guideline. That's the best part of collaborating in comics is not being a dictator with the material. So I'm writing a script and it's a really good partnership because he's really intuitive on seeing how to take that script and realize it in a way beyond my ability to perceive.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Solid.
Hey.
Boom.
As a writer, where do you draw your influences from trying to convey emotions and people and things from 1,000 years ago? Is there a direct, can you take what your tools are today and look at this and be able to work it, or do you need to do something special for those voices?
I feel it's basically, in terms of when you're talking about a character who is feeling oppressive amounts of fear, fear is a universal sort of feeling and dread and anxiety that we all can experience. Whether 1,000 years, I don't think has probably made a significant impact. It is a matter of sometimes finding that that moment, that feeling within myself over a certain thing and finding a way to repurpose it and channel it into a character's voice. Because I tend to feel what my characters are feeling, which is one of the reasons sometimes I like taking breaks and doing happy comics. Because I do some of the all ages fun stuff because it puts my head, it recharges me back into a happier place. To write a character that's feeling dread, I think part of it is you have to feel some dread. And even if my life is not necessarily dreadful, I don't think there's an army coming at me, but we've all had experiences that we carry with us, and dredging on those, pulling them from your past and essentially feeling them as you're working is a good thing to do, I think.
Yeah. You guys ever watch High Noon? We're going to go real old school with movies again, but it's old Western. I feel like we're talking about Quiet Tension. That whole first 3/4 of that movie is just conversations because it's like this constant overshadowing of something's coming. And when it does come, it's you're never bored till you get there, but when the payoff comes, it feels super sweet because you've been waiting for it, right? I think that sort of mentality is something that we talk about kind of taking from Westerns and how they tell stories. There's an element of that I feel like kind of just overlaps into this material real easily.
Yeah.
Although the one difference is the fight start right from the beginning and just got to continue. But
we have action from almost the very beginning, but at the same time, when there's an action, we have to make sure there's tension.
That's right. Yeah.
And because there's
without one, you don't get much out of the other. Right?
No one is ever relaxed in the story.
Yeah.
There's never a moment where anyone's like, all right, now time for a relaxing bath. No, it's you don't have time for that. Death is looming above you at all times.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the heart of it right there.
When is this coming out?
Summertime?
Yeah. Do we have a locked-in month? I believe
I think we're June. No?
I think we're June.
I mean, definitely summer. I mean, it's coming soon. Like it will be.
Yeah, we're
earlier summer than
we're
later.
working on the 4th issue.
Yeah.
It's mostly wrapped up.
Yeah, that's not an
point.
exaggeration. When that thing does come out, the first arc will be completely finished.
Oh yeah, it's all going to happen fast. This guy works like a demon. It's insane. It's like, like I go, there's 8 more pages in my inbox. I just closed my eyes. What happened? I turned around. I got a sandwich. There's 4 more. What?
That's what I put my kids to work.
Yeah. He's got a whole machine there. Yeah. So it's been fun.
And Justin, when Larry pitched you this idea, what was that selling point for you?
You know, honestly, I just came off an all ages graphic novel. It was the kind of happy point. It was fun, and I really enjoyed it because I've never had something I could like show my kids. Honestly, like all my comics are kind of they lean on the dark side, which is something I like. And so getting to go the other direction and go something is much more like visually focused, much more. I don't get to show my kids these pages most of the time. I mean, it's a lot of action, and I haven't gotten really to do an action book in a long time. I tend to work on stuff that's a little more slow burn crime, or it's just different genres require different things. This one, I really wanted a chance to just kind of put the pedal to the metal and draw that, like really try and visually get that across. A lot of energy.
Thanks for watching, and thanks Justin and Landry for taking the time to talk with us about The Last Siege. Also, make sure you're subscribing to us for future videos. Follow us on Twitter at WhoDooTV, and also a thanks to our friends over at Outright Geekery. Check them out for anything geeky.